he hasn't driven for about a year prior to today's meeting. And you mentioned the heat that was won by Don Grieverson earlier this morning. Damon Beck showed out to tremendous advantage in that. And for a guy that was having his first upstart for a year in the Renmax, he turned in a great performance. There he is, car 12, Damon Beck, the Renmax, and he could be a surprise packet in this final round of the series this afternoon. He's got number 2 position on the grid.
Yes, it speaks volumes for his talent as a driver to be able to step back in after a long break from the sport, and anywhere from one meeting's a long break from Formula V's because the competition is so tough. There's Peter Radke, who always provides the spectators here and our viewers at home with plenty of tough, hard racing. And a section that shows out extremely well here at Amaroo Park, indeed, the Formula V's. Very, very close racing. Time showed that in practice yesterday, and you can almost throw a blanket over the entire field from lap to lap. Engine starting to rev, being brought up now as the starter raises the flag, and they're off. And it's Damon Beck on the outside, and number 12 gets a fairly good start here. Will try and take the lead going up Bitchapave Hill for the first time. Good gearing sees him take over the lead and put a slight gap over himself and second place driver over the top of Bitchapave, and now down to the right-hander at Dunlop. And there you can see the cars fairly close together. Not often you see a V get a break like that going up the hill the first time. There's usually about 15 of them line abreast over the top. They'll probably all take care of that in the next half lap. Damon Beck in control of this race down the back part of the Amaroo Park circuit, and with a handy lead at the stage. And there you can see the train behind him, nose to tail, down to the left-hander now at Honda, and Damon Beck in a pretty good position, in a good lead. Number 2 is Peter Radke, and then back to car number 22, running in 3rd place at the moment, and he's looked fairly competitive. David Turnbull. Don Grieverson holding down 4th spot, just ahead of Paul McDonald, the series leader in car 3. Very, very close racing there in Rothman's corner. Here's Damon Beck onto the straightaway once again. Looking pretty good. You see the line behind him, but it won't be too long before the rest of the field close up on him. 20 cars take a stab at the time lap between first and last. 6.6 seconds. That's good motor racing. Damon Beck using the wide line as the approach to Dunlop. Comes through the corner. There's only been 1 or 2 incidents, but nothing major to speak of at this stage. One going via the inside there was Radke. He was making an inside manoeuvre as well. But at this stage, Damon Beck still has quite a handy lead over the field. Car 22, that's David Turnbull, slipped into 2nd place ahead now of Peter Radke. Don Grieverson still holding down 4th spot. So Beck could actually open up this point score, be to the advantage of McDonald at this stage, who has quite a good lead though in the series, but not running up in the front 4 or 5 in this race. Because it's his first drive for a year, he could play a very big spoiling role in this series, couldn't he? Exactly. The competition behind the back of Beck's car is quite intense, as you can see. 2 and 3 wide coming through Dunlop corner. Radke right in amongst them. Grieverson now starting to make his presence felt in car number 51. Over the ripple strips. Will this be a close race? Oh, I thought the ripple strips across country. Rallycross, everything mixed up in this. To Honda once again. That was Paul McDonald, the series leader, taking that shortcut in car 3. Well, that's advanced him up in at least the top 6 at the moment. I think he'd be happy to be there, probably even finish there. Okay. Graham Benson, I noticed too, sneaking through there in car 8, has now slipped into 4th spot ahead of Don Grieverson and Paul McDonald. Very competitive section of Australian motorsport, the Formula V's. Good nursery to other forms of racing, probably the most inexpensive, although there's not really any section of motorsport that is inexpensive these days. Once again, bridging the top of Bitchapave Hill, Damon Beck, as you can see, still holding that good lead. Peter Radke has now moved up into 2nd place. David Turnbull is in 3rd. Don Grieverson making a move now on the outside. Leaving out the leader for the moment, Damon Beck. The next 9 cars are all sandwiched into a 3-second time span. Grieverson days. And once again at Honda, Damon Beck with a good lead. Peter Radke not making a great impression on him at this stage as they go down towards the abrupt right-hander at Rothmans that is most unforgiving as it's packed by about a 12-inch concrete wall. Peter Radke here and Turnbull really starting to put their wheels together. Here comes Turnbull down the inside, Radke on the outside. Armco guardrail almost creased there that time, and while they're having their dice, someone pulls up on the outside and attempts to pass the lot. Still running 3 wide in the turns. 2
cars on the tail of that bunch behind the leader, Damien Beck. Car 15, David Leapold, and car 64, Philip Ravel. If any of those drivers you can see on the screen at the moment do anything wrong, they could be right in the thick of things.
Yes, there's no room for error when the cars are travelling so close together. The right-hander again at Rothmans. Once again, Damon Beck still in control.
Gee, look at Benson, will you, in car 8. He's got right through now into second spot.
He's done very well in the field, made tremendous forward progress. But whether he can carry on now and haul back Damon Beck, we'll have to wait and see. Beck, I think, has lost a little of that gap that he had over the field. Once again,
that car there, car 8, through Graham Benson, he came from 10th position on the grid.
And is about to go back one more slot now as Turnbull puts the pressure on him, and Peter Radke also starting to make an inside manoeuvre here. They're about halfway through the race at this stage, with Damon Beck still leading in car number 12.
1.1 seconds between first and second. And it's car 22 back in second place. That's David Turnbull. Graham Benson holding down third spot. Damon Beck is really showing him something.
Yes, he still has that lead. They pegged him back for a while, and he's managed to get his second wind, and he's opened up that 20-metre lead, which is a huge lead in terms of Formula V racing. To the right-hander, and from positions 2 back to 10th, they are absolutely locked together.
Don Grieverson has lost his position somewhat. The leader in car 12, Damon Beck, followed by David Turnbull in car 22. Then comes car 8, Graham Benson, followed in turn by Peter Radke in car 2. Then the series leader, car 3, Paul McDonald. And then comes Don Grieverson in car 51, followed by car 15, David Leapold, and car 64, Philip Ravel.
5.3 seconds separating second to 10th car. It's not bad. They're very, very close indeed. So take Beck out of it, and anyone could win this particular race, and that's not to say that Beck has it locked up at this stage, although he's probably looking the safest bet as they move past the halfway mark in the race.
Turn the corner once more. Beck, Turnbull, Radke, Benson, Paul McDonald, Don Grieverson. 0.6 of a second now between first and second, so the gap slowly but inexorably closing.
Onto the straight again, and you can see
right over here on the opposite side of the track, just coming out of Honda Corner, there's been a bit of a monumental bingle involving at least two cars that I can see. Car 35, which is Phil Parsons, and it looks like 67. It is 67, which is Steve Swain.
Well, the drivers are both okay. They've walked away from their cars, and the race continues. You'll notice the cars coming through the top part of the circuit in just a moment or so, down towards where the accident took place. Here they come now. We've got 2 cars. One still parked there on the side of the track.
They won't want to go wide on this corner.
This could be disastrous if anyone comes in here low and tries to sweep out wide. Fortunately, they all miss, and look who's back in front. Turnbull has taken Damon Beck for the lead, but Beck's, I think, going to throw out another challenge his way. Peter Radke now starting to put the pressure on, and so too is Don Grieverson. Nothing between the top 8 running cars now. David Turnbull from from down south, Damon Beck, who looked to have a good lead, a stranglehold virtually on this race. Has dropped into second, but I think will pull out of the slipstream about now, but whether he's got the long legs to carry on with it. And he's about to be tackled now by the other 3 cars on the inside, so we have one heck of a race going here with a couple of laps still to run.
Benson slipping through to take over third spot now from Radke. And I think Radke himself is now under pressure from, it looks like, Don Grieverson.
Here they come down once again. We still have these 2 cars parked there. The marshals haven't been able to move the number 67 car, which is still half on the racetrack, but the drivers are aware of it. They all managed to miss last time. Turnbull with Damon Beck now looking towards an inside manoeuvre here as they come down to Rothmans, and they're very, very close.
Very close. There's 1.9 seconds between the first 8 cars. That's 4 cars a second. They're coming up to the last lap.
This is going to be one heck of a last lap. David Turnbull from Damon Beck. There's the back view of them heading up Bitchapave Hill for the final time. And the challenge comes again from Beck, who sneaks down the inside and will then try and move across to be on the right-hand side coming out of this corner. But he'll have to move quickly, which he just about does.
And Radke too, sneaking through again. Remarkable, from 4th spot up into 2nd place, with Beck taking over the lead once more in car 12. Turnbull's not going to sit still for it though, not if he can help it.
Coming down the back part of the circuit for the final time towards the left-hander at Honda. And here we have car number 12, Damon Beck.
Radke in 2nd place, Turnbull 3rd, Benson 4th. Series leader Paul McDonald 5th place, Don Grieverson is in 6th place.
Well, can Damon Beck do it? He has the brakes on now, the short chute on the approach to Ron Hodson. Turnbull washed a lot of speed off on the outside that time.
Beck gets a break of about 1.5 lengths.
That's huge in Formula V onto the... Oh, and he hits the wall and comes across a couple of tangles there. But I think Beck has gone on to win it.
Beck has got it.
What a finish, though. Someone should tell the Formula V drivers that you can't bend Armco with a Formula V. And we had... one of the place getters there was bouncing off the Armco back into the
look at Beck, he's as happy as a sandboy.
Wouldn't he be?
Well, don't ask me about the minor placings there. I think it's Peter Radke that's ended up in 2nd spot, but things behind him were just a little bit confused by that confusion that we had coming down CRC straight for the last time. A little shunt into the Armco and 2 or 3 other cars being involved in the backwash of that. That allowed Peter Beck, not that he wasn't going to win it at the time anyway, but allowed